Hey guys, welcome to the show. I'm CharlesCharlieCharles, and this is my list of the worst games I played for the first time in 2018.
Number 5.
Now, I'm probably going to get torn a new arsehole in the comments for putting this game on the list, but honestly, I think it deserves to be here. Number 5 is Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, you heard me right. GTA 5 is one of the worst games I played this year, and let me tell you why. Ever since the game came out in 2013, I've heard people singing its praises. Some of my favourite reviewers rate it highly, extremely highly in some cases. It's the most profitable piece of entertainment media in history, so it has to be good, right? I walked into GTA 5 having never owned any of the others, thinking it would be the game that would make me fall in love with the series. It didn't. It reinforced my teenage opinion that Saints Row was, and is, better than Grand Theft Auto. I started with GTA 5's online mode, thinking it'd be a great place to have some fun with friends. I quickly found that that wasn't the case. You want to play GTA the way it should be played? Running around robbing stores and mugging people and all that fun, violent stuff I expected? Well, guess what? You're a very little fish in a very big pond, and if you don't want to get grief killed every 30 seconds, you've got to opt out of all that violent content. Yep. In order to not get griefed, you have to opt out of the fun side of GTA Online. Yeah, you could play in private online lobbies to rank up and unlock new stuff, like I spent almost 20 hours doing before I asked myself the question, what the fuck am I doing this for? And subsequently gave the fuck up. The online is flooded with griefers and cheaters, and if you don't have a big group of friends to mess around with, which I don't, and even if I did I wouldn't give the game a second chance, the online isn't fun. That's why its online element brings it here. Because it isn't fun. So if you only played the online for 20 hours, why do you have 36 hours played on Steam? Well, that's because after that mess, I thought I'd give the single player a chance to redeem itself. A chance which, I'd like to make it damn clear, it squanders. It starts off introducing you to the only somewhat likeable character of the main three, Franklin. But even then, what you do while you're playing as him felt so generic and dull that honestly, I've already forgotten what we did. Then there's Michael, who just comes across as a largely immature arsehole who can't handle not having complete control over every aspect of his life and his family's lives. And then Trevor. Fucking Trevor. Balls to the wall and the floor Trevor. I wanted to like Trevor. I honestly thought I would based on how I saw him referenced in other reviews in the days before I played this, but in practice, just fucking no. Just no. So, to summarise, GTA 5 has broken and boring online play, a dull cast of unlikable main characters, boring and unmemorable missions, and no real redeeming qualities. The final nail in the coffin of this game for me was this, though. I took more joy in uninstalling this 80GB piece of crap than I ever did in playing it. And that is the biggest reason that GTA 5 is on this list.
Number 4.
From a game that most of you probably hate me for putting on the list, to a game I hate Square Enix for having to put on this list. Number 4 is honestly and truly my favourite game of all time. Well, it's its reanimated corpse, in any case. It's the Final Fantasy X HD remaster, which wasn't a fucking remaster, Square Enix, you lying bastards. It was a port. It was a fucking port with neutered cutscenes. That's all it fucking was. And fuck you for releasing it on PC in this state. And fuck you some more for bundling it with X2, which nobody, absolutely fucking nobody wanted, because the original was a shit game that didn't deserve to exist and damaged the storyline it followed on from. Since the masterpiece remasters of Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy and Spyro Reignited came to my attention this year, it became even more obvious that this game had to make the list. This crap isn't acceptable, Square. It's not fucking acceptable. And fuck you for doing nothing but ruin the cutscenes. Everything else is damn near identical to the PS2 original. You took the most emotional parts of the game and you fucked them up. Then you sold this mess back to us at a premium price. Fuck you for that. Fuck you and fuck this game.
Number 3.
Rivals of Aether swoops into third place for being a Smash Bros clone with a small, boring cast, overly complicated gameplay, bad controls, a terrible tutorial, bugged achievements, and no redeeming features. I hated it before I even finished the tutorial, hated it even more when achievements refused to unlock after completing the challenges related to them, and, like GTA 5, the only true moment of joy I had with this game was when I uninstalled it. Absolute garbage.
Number 2.
Now, maybe I'm the fool for thinking this game could have been anything other than terrible, but the last NBA game I played was NBA Jam on the PS2, and I remember it being an absolute blast of a game. NBA Playgrounds, however, is not. It's boring, it's repetitive, it's luck-based more than anything, and it's just not fun. If you ever stumble across a copy of this, don't waste your time. On the plus side, you can't even buy it on Steam anymore, so there's no risk of you buying it by accident.
Number 1.
The coveted number 1 slot goes to a publisher as much as a single game. The game that takes its place at the top of this shit heap is Paladins, but while the game is an Overwatch clone in every way possible, straight up ripping off pretty much every character on the Overwatch roster, while it locks the majority of that roster behind microtransactions, while it includes more loot boxes than EA ever would dare to implement into a game, and while it's free to play, it's not an unplayable game. It's inferior to Overwatch in every way, but it's not unplayable. Hi-Rez Studios, Paladins' publisher, however, deserve the biggest fuck you that I can possibly point in their direction. As anyone who's played Paladins through Steam will know, you don't actually play through Steam. Instead, Steam functions like a launcher for the game, at which point you're prompted to create an account with Hi-Rez Studios and give them a bunch of your personal information. This is clearly commonplace, however what isn't commonplace is that in order to close your account with them, say if you tried out one of their games, thought it was a bit shit, and you no longer want them to send you junk emails and or retain your personal information, you can't just go to the account management section of their website and press a single button, like you can on almost any other website that involves creating an account. Instead, you're prompted to contact them and ask them to delete your account. So I did. I sent them a simple and straightforward email requesting they delete my account, as I wasn't given the option to do it myself. I received an automated response that my message had been received, and then there was silence. About 2 weeks later, when I'd already assumed that they just deleted the account like I'd asked them to and not bothered to tell me, I received an email from them saying that in order to close the account, I'd have to provide them with more information in order to prove my ownership of the account. Now, 2 weeks might not seem like a long time to a lot of you, but for someone with memory problems, like me, who genuinely struggles to remember what I did yesterday, let alone 2 weeks ago, what comes next became a big problem. You see, when a website asks you to make an account, they ask you to set a security question or two. You pick from a list of pre-generated questions and then you type in your answers. This is a simple system that works effectively because you're simply answering a question. Where Hi-Rez fucked that up, however, was in not only demanding the answer to that question, but not telling me what the question was in the first place and demanding I tell them what the question was, which naturally I couldn't do. So despite having access to the account and being able to log in to submit multiple requests through their ticketing system, despite emailing them directly from the email address linked to the account, my account stayed open, and they refused not only to accept that I was who I said I was, but they refused to delete my data, which is illegal, as the examples I'm showing on screen make clear. I had several conversations back and forth with their customer support team, who were snide, condescending, and outright rude on multiple occasions, in the face of somebody who already was losing patience and respect for their shoddy business practices. It wasn't until I threatened them with legal action over their breaches of the GDPR that they finally gave me a secondary option to prove I was the rightful owner of my own account, and after a few more weeks of emails, during which time their responses, which had been fairly quick up to that point, usually responding to my emails within 12 hours, slowed to the point where I was lucky if I received a response within 7 days. I finally managed to close my account with them. It took nearly 2 months of emails to close an account that I should have been able to close with a single button press. And for that, Paladins wasted more of my time this year than any other game, and I hope it and its developer crash and burn for the shit they put their user base through. Fuck Paladins and fuck Hi-Rez Studios. Dishonourable mentions for 2018 go to Kart Racer for controlling like crap and needing pinpoint accuracy towards the end of the game, to Running with Rifles for being a mindless game with no worthwhile tutorial and no real objectives, also for being overpriced for the piece of crap that it is, and to Jotun Valhalla Edition for feeling like a lazy Viking reskin of Dark Souls with even cheaper bosses and unrewarding gameplay. It does, however, look very nice, which is pretty much the only reason it's not on the actual list. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm sorry that several sections of this video were just me ranting, but you knew what to expect really, didn't you? Let me know in the comments what your worst games were for 2018, and I'll see you all next time. Peace!